Hello mga Kamat TV. Maligayang pagbabalik sa aking channel. Sa video ito, pag-usapan natin ng solving quadratic equations by completing the square. So bago natin i-discuss ito, balikan muna natin ang square of a binomial at perfect square trinomial. Ano ba ang may tutulong nito sa topic na completing the square? So by the way, ito napag-aralan na during the grade 8. So example ng square of binomial, ito, the quantity of x plus y squared. So ito transform natin as a perfect square trinomial. So paano gawin? So square natin yung first term, that is x times x, magiging x squared. Multiply natin yung first at saka second term, magiging xy. Then double natin, makukuha na natin yung 2xy. And lastly, y times y, multiply natin yung last term by itself, makukuha natin yung y squared. Okay? So, ganun lang ang pag-transform ng perfect square trinomial. So, isa pang example, ito, the quantity of x plus 3 squared. So, una, x times x squared. Then, x times 3, that is 3x, double natin, magiging 6x. Then, the last, multiply natin sa sarili niya, 3 times 3, magiging 9. So, the square of binomial, the quantity of x plus 3 squared is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 9. So, last na to. Last na halimbawa natin. The quantity of 2x minus 6 squared. Okay? So, kung mapapansin natin, hindi na 1 yung kasama ni x. At saka yung sign ay minus na. Yung operation ay minus na. So, kaya ng dati, multiply natin yung first term. 2 times 2, that is 4. X times x, that is x squared. Then, multiply natin yung first doon sa second. 2x times negative 6, that is negative 12x. I-double natin, makukuha natin yung negative 24x. At saka yung pang last, minus 6 squared, negative 6 times negative 6, that is positive 36. So, itong dalawa, ang relation nila, equal lang sila. So, transform lang natin. So, gagamitin natin ito sa pag-solve ng completing the square. Okay, so, actually doon sa pag-solve ng quadratic equation using the completing the square, mayroon siyang steps to follow. Number 1, if the coefficient of x squared is not 1, divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient of x squared. So, kapag daw si a ay hindi 1, i-divide natin lahat doon sa equations ng a. So, step number 2, isolate all the variable terms on one side of the equation. So, ilalagay natin sa isang side o sa kaliwang side yung x, yung mga variable x, then yung constant doon sa right side. Step number 3, complete the square. So, paano ba natin ma-complete yung square? Half the coefficient of the x term squared, or in formula, that is b divided by 2, the quantity of b divided by 2 squared. After that, add to both sides of the equation. Step number 4, factor the resulting trinomial. So, dito pumapasok yung activity natin kanina. Trinomial. Magiging square of a binomial siya. So, step number 5, the resulting equation, solve the resulting equation using the extracting the square root. So, babalik tayo doon sa first way of solving quadratic equation, wherein x squared is equal to k. Therefore, x is equal to plus or minus the square root of k. And the last step, solve the resulting linear equation. So, ano ba yung mga steps na ito? So, gawin natin one by one. So, heto, example 1 natin. Solve the equation x squared plus 6x is equal to 7. Okay. So, step number 1, sabi niya doon, kapag ang coefficient ng x squared ay hindi 1, divide natin. So, since 1 yan, hindi na natin i-divide. Ika-copy na lang natin. Okay? Step number 2, isolate all variable terms on one side of the equation. Ganon din. So, yung x squared saka 6x, nandito na sa left side. Yung constant naman, nandito na sa right side. So, copy din ulit. Okay? So, step 1 at saka step 2, hindi na natin ginawa kasi given na siya sa ating equation. Okay, step number 3, complete the square. Sabi niya, half the coefficient of the x term squared. So, ano ba yung x term natin? That is b. So, yung formula natin, that is the quantity of b divided by 2. Kasi sabi niya, half. Okay? The quantity of b divided by 2 squared. So, yan yung idadagdag natin para maging perfect square trinomial yung nasa left side natin. So, kung anong dinagdag natin dito sa left side, dapat ganun din yung idadagdag natin dito sa right side. Okay? Ang tanong, ano ba ang value ni b? So, heto siya. Okay? Yung katabi ni x term. So, 6. So, 6 divided by 2 squared. So, solve natin ito. So, dito pa lang, 6 divided by 2, makukuha natin 3. Okay? So, dito, 3 squared. So, ibig sabihin nito, dalawang beses natin i-multiply yung 3 sa sarili niya. So, 3 times 3 is 9. So, ang dadagdag natin ay 9. Yan. Then, i-simplify lang natin yung nasa right side kasi 7 plus 9, that is equal to 16. Next step, factor the resulting trinomial. So, ito, i-factor out natin. Paano ba i-factor out ito? Okay? So, ang gagawin natin, ito, square root natin, makukuha natin si x. Yun, last term, square root natin, makukuha natin yung 3. By the way, kung ito napapansin nyo, parehas lang sila doon. Yung in-squared natin doon, parehas lang yung nandito. So, paano yung sign? So, kopyahin lang natin yan. So, paano natin mati-check naman kung tama yung 6x? So, ganito. Kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina, multiply the first term and the second term. That is x times 3, that is 3x. Then, double natin, kasi laging dino-double yan, dalawang beses kasi yan. So, magiging 6x. So, tama yung square of a binomial natin. So, from here, step number 5. Okay? Gagawin natin, extracting square root. Okay? So, yung square root dito, squared natin ito, square root natin ito. So, makakancel out, pupunta sa kabila. So, that is plus or minus the square root of 16. So, in-square root natin dito, then dito, lumabas ito. Okay, so what is the square root of 16? Okay, the square root of 16 is 4. 4 times 4 kasi ay 16. So, heto na yung mga linear equations natin. So, isosolve natin using step number 6. Solve the resulting linear equations. Ngayon, ang gagawin natin, so kung mapapansin nyo, x plus 3 equals plus or minus. So, paghiwalayin lang natin yung dalawa. Okay? So, yung isa, x plus 3 equals 4. Kinuha natin yung plus 4. Okay? Yung isa naman, x plus 3 equals negative 4. So, nandito si plus, nandito si minus 4. Okay? So, solve na natin ito. So, paano ba natin ito isolve? So, combine natin yung like terms. So, itong constant, ililipat natin dito using the subtraction property of equality. So, magsusubtract tayo ng 3 both sides of the equation. So, dito, wala na si 3 kasi nag-minus 3 tayo. So, that is now x. So, dito naman, 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. So, nakuha na natin yung isang value ni x. Okay? So, dito naman tayo sa kabila. So, ganun pa rin yung gagawin natin. Subtraction property. Magsusubtract tayo ng 3 both sides of the equation. Ayan. So, dito wala na siya. So, that is x na lang na natitira. Dito sa right side naman, minus 4 at saka minus 3 or negative 4 minus 3. So, since parehas sila na negative, pag add natin, that is 7. Then, copy the sign. So, yung pangalawang value ni x is equal to negative 7. Therefore, the equation x squared plus 6x equals 7 has two solutions. X is equal to 1 or x is equal to negative 7. Okay, so bago natin pagpatuloy sa example number 2, baka pwedeng mag-subscribe kayo sa aking YouTube channel para lagi kayong updated kung may mga bagong tutorials na ganito. So, ito yung unang tutorial ko. Malamang masusundan dahil sa sitwasyon natin sa learning modalities natin ngayon. Okay. So, example number 2. Ayan. Solve 2x squared minus 10x minus 12 is equal to 0. Ngayon, step number 1, kung mapapansin natin, hindi na 1. Hindi na 1 yung coefficient ni x squared. So, i-divide natin all the terms or both sides of the equation. So, ang mangyayari, yan, i-divide natin isa-isa. Okay, so that is step number 1. So, to simplify, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. Ayan. So, the resulting equation is x squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. Step number 2. Ano ba yung step number 2 natin? Okay? Isolate all variables. Yan. So, ililipat natin si minus 6 sa kabila. Okay? Maiwan natin yung mga excess dito sa left side. So, we will use the addition property of equality. So, kung kanina nag-minus tayo, subtraction property of equality. Ngayon, nag-add tayo, addition property of equality. So, heto, wala na siya. So, the resulting will be x squared minus 5x is equal to 6. Ayan. So, step number 3. Ayan. So, gawin natin perfect square trinomial. So, paano natin gawin? Ano na yung formula? Ang formula natin, the quantity of b divided by 2 squared. I-add natin dito sa last term ng trinomial natin. Then, also to the other side of the equation. So, now, ano yung b natin? Ano yung value ng b natin? So, kung mapapansin nyo, that is negative 5. So, lalagay natin negative 5. Negative 5 divided by 2, constant yan, hindi man mapapalitan yung 2 na yan, lagi yan, squared. So, dito, hindi natin madidivide na whole number yung sagot. So, ang gagawin natin, i-distribute na lang natin yung exponent. So, that is negative 5 squared the quantity of negative 5 squared all over 2 squared. So, negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. 2 times 2 is 4. So, ang isasagot natin or idadagdag natin both sides of the equation is 25 divided by 4. Okay? So, heto na siya. So, simplify natin. So, paano natin nakuha yung 49? Ito muna. Paano natin nakuha yung 49 divided by 4? Pinag-add natin yung 6 at saka 25 divided by 4. So, paano natin pag-addin yan? Ito. So, ano ba yung denominator to? 1. 1 times 25 is 25. So, 25 dito. Then, 4 times 6, that is 24. So, pag-addin natin, 24 dito, then 25 dito, magiging 49. Yung 4 naman, multiply natin yung denominator. 1 times 4 is equal to 4. So, nakuha natin yung 49 divided by 4 using the butterfly method. Okay? Dito sa left side naman, ginawa nating square of a binomial. So, in-square root natin, nakuha natin si x. In-square root natin, nakuha natin 5 over 2. Or, yung nandito, yung sinasabi ko kanina sa inyo. Yung in-square mo, siya rin yung magiging value dito. Okay? Negative yung ilalagay natin kasi negative yung middle term. Okay? So, paano natin ma-check no, kung tama yung negative 5? So, multiply natin, that is 5 halves x. Then, double natin, magiging 10 halves x. Negative 10 halves x. So, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So, negative 5x. So, tama ulit. Okay? So, from here, gagawin na natin yung step number 5. Wherein, i-square root natin itong both side. Okay? So, ito magiging plus or minus the square root of 49 divided by 4. So, ano bang square root ng 49? Ano bang square root ng 4? So, we can have the square root of this. Pwede nating paghiwalayin. So, square root of 49 divided by square root of 4. So, ang sagot dyan ay plus or minus 7 halves. Okay? Plus or minus 7 halves. Next. Okay, so tuloy natin. So, from here, yung huling part natin, okay? So, x minus 5 halves is equal to plus or minus 7 halves. So, paghiwalay natin ulit kasi may plus yung isa, minus yung isa. Okay? So, heto, x minus 5 halves is equal to 7 halves. So, yan yung plus. So, ito naman yung minus. X minus 5 halves is equal to minus 7 halves. So, pinaghiwalay natin para magkaroon tayo ng dalawang linear equations. Ngayon, paano natin i-isolate si x? So, dapat wala siyang kasama. So, using the addition property, mag-add tayo ng 5 halves to both sides of the equation. So, 5 halves dito, plus natin, mag-plus din tayo ng 5 halves dito. So, ito, wala na. Wala na itong, kasi yung isa negative, yung isa plus. Yung isa minus pala, yung isa plus. Okay, so, 0 na to. So, dito naman, addition of fraction. So, add. So, since mayroon silang parehong denominator, add natin yung numerator. 7 plus 5 is equal to 12. Then, copy 2. Therefore, x is equal to 12 divided by 2, that is 6. So, yung isang value ng x ay equal sa 6. Paano naman yung isa? So, ganun pa rin. Mag-add tayo both sides. So, pag nag-add tayo dito, mawawala na. So, dito, pupunta na lang sa kabila. Okay? So, dito ngayon, x is equal to minus 7 halves plus 5 halves. Kung papansin niyo, yung isa minus, yung isa plus. Okay? So, kunin natin yung difference, that is 2. Then, copy the side of the larger value. So, that is negative 2 divided by 2. So, what is 2 divided by 2? That is 1. Then, what natin? Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Okay. Therefore, the values of yung x natin ay 6 or negative 1. Ayan. Yung solutions natin, dalawa pa rin. X is equal to 6 or x is equal to negative 1. Okay, so hanggang dito lang yung tutorial natin. Sana may napulot kayong learning dito. So muling pagkikita natin. So mag-subscribe kayo sa aking channel para lagi kayong updated. Okay, bye-bye!